¿Hola? Sí, ahora se oye. Muy buenos días. Soy Jesús Ruiz Mantilla, escritor, periodista. Llevo más de 30 años en el diario El País y he tenido el honor y tengo la suerte hoy de haber sido invitado a este lugar que para mí es un templo del no, que es una cosa muy recomendable en ciertos momentos históricos, a presentar a gran Michel Poulain. Juan Martín me propuso esto y obviamente le dije que sí, porque yo a las organizaciones como el CENIO, que es una organización que trata de ver la luz en vez de la oscuridad en asuntos tan complejos y tan cruciales como la longevidad, pues siempre estoy a favor y por eso me siento honrado de estar hoy aquí en este Paraninfo de la Universidad de Salamanca para este acto en honor del gran Michel Poulain. Tengo que dar las gracias a la universidad, obviamente, al CENIE, al Instituto de Braganza, que colabora, al Instituto Politécnico de Braganza, que colabora activamente en esto, y al Interreg, que es un programa de fondos europeos entre España y Portugal que también hacen posible este tipo de encuentros. Michel Poulain, para mí, es una persona que esclarece en tiempos de incertidumbre, en los tiempos oscuros de duda, de incertidumbre, de confusión que vivimos. Siempre es importante contar con personas como él. Él es una de las personas más, digamos, pretendidas a nivel mundial para dar la clave o certificar en muchas zonas del mundo todo aquello que tiene que ver con la longevidad. La longevidad, como sabéis, es una aspiración vital de todos nosotros en las mejores condiciones posibles, y él hizo posible eso, certificar zonas de longevidad en todo el mundo, gracias a una marca que ya se ha implantado con un prestigio enorme, que es las Blue Zones, las zonas azules. Las zonas azules que actualmente no son más de 4, ya nos lo contará, en su exposición y después en una conversación que mantendremos. Él es profesor emérito de la Universidad de Lovaina, también en Tallinn, Estonia. Ha sido presidente de la Sociedad Belga de Demografía, así como la Asociación de Demografía de Países de Lengua Francesa. Empezó sus estudios con las migraciones, que es un asunto que tiene muchísimo que ver después en lo que ha acabado, que es la longevidad. Y hoy por hoy, como digo, es una persona a la que tiene muchos pretendientes por el mundo, precisamente porque es el encargado de certificar cuáles son esos lugares en todo el planeta que tienen un mejor nivel de vida hasta alcanzar la barrera de los 100 años y traspasarla. Entre los centenarios, él es una cosa que él ha estado estudiando concienzudamente desde 1992, y todo ese proceso de más de 3 décadas la ha llevado hasta que hoy esté ante ustedes como toda una autoridad global y mundial en la materia. Yo les pido un gran aplauso para Michel Poulain y vamos a escucharle. Maestro, Así que es su turno.
Merci. Buenos días. It is amazing to be here and to see the audience in such a wonderful building. I feel myself in the Middle Age. And when the monks were here and were obliged to tell to others the good news. So I will bring you good news. Okay. The first thing I want to explain is my personal way, because it's crazy. Can you imagine? I was born in a city, but then my father was a teacher from the school, from elementary school, and he was nominated in a small village. And I discovered the difference between a village and a city. When I was in the village, my parents let me go with my bicycle everywhere in the village, and I know all the village. So good that when I was a bit older, I did the history of the village. I even discovered in a field the old church. Nobody knew it. And I went with my student. We did some hole and we find some skeletons. And everybody was afraid. What is it? So arriving in the village was the first important step for me. Then I do the normal secondary school, and I was supposed to go to nuclear science. Mamma mia, technology and so on. And then my professor of mathematics came at home and said, this guy should go to university. And my parents were a bit, okay. And finally they sent me to university, and I have chosen physics. And when I did my memory at the end of study, I chose astrophysics. And I did my first pieces on auroras, you see, in the sky, in northern, and it's moving. It's very strange. So that was my first step. And then progressively I discovered that I'm not so happy with techniques, with satellite. I was working on a satellite, but it was a nonsense for me. I did not understand anything. I changed to secondary degree, and I started to be interested in history, and then in historical demography, and then in demography. And I started to be interested, so that at one moment, I remember well, I was teaching in the secondary degree there, and all the students receive a book explaining what is their future study. And I look also. I tried, and I discovered that it was possible for me to do study in demography, even if I was astrophysicist. And I started at 27 to do the study in demography. And I did it so quick that in 5 years I did the diploma, the master, and the PhD. And I was engaged in the university in a temporary position, while I have a permanent position in the elementary school there. And I have already at that time 4 children. But as I say always to my students, do some risk, accept some feasible risk. If you don't take any risk, you will not change in your life. So I went to demography, and I started in internal migration. And then I remember in 89, long time ago, a student from Eurostar arrived and say they need some work to do on international migration within Europe. And so I was in charge in a project to go from capital city to capital city in the EU at that time, 12 countries, to check the statistics on international migration. And after that, when they include new country, all the time I have to go in the new country, so that I visited 42 of the 33 European countries. The only country that I did not visit several times is Belarus. So if you have an invitation for me in Belarus, I will be ready to go. And there is also a region in Europe where I have not yet been. This is Corsica. I will go to Corsica, that will be. But I did mostly all of the other part of the world in Europe. That was international migration. And again, something changed. We are in 92, a medical doctor a family doctor, came in my office at university. Look, he say, I have the list of 2,000 centenarians in Belgium. All my colleagues say, okay, bye-bye, go. I was interested. And I started to be interested in centenarian. And progressively, the main point in centenarian was to be sure that these people are really 100. Just a few weeks ago, I received on the web an information that a man is 125 in Belgium. He was a cardiologist and so on, with a full interview and so, 125. No, it was artificial intelligence that created this guy probably, but it does not exist. The most important is to be sure that centenarians are really centenarian, with document, with their story, and all should fit together. So I was specialized in this type of age validation. And therefore we were in a group named Committee for Age Validation, and we have meeting every year. And I still remember in 99, we have a meeting in Montpellier. And at that meeting, a team from Sassari in Sardinia arrived and say, in the mountain of Sardinia, people are living longer and men live as long as women, and it's really wonderful. I still remember today the coffee break. The demographers were together. No, this is true. These are men and they are lying. This is not correct. This is okay. But okay, we will send somebody. And again, you should be there at that moment. You should be there at that moment. There was another person from Quebec, but he was not interested. So I arrived the 20 January 2000 at the airport of Alghero, and directly to go to a celebration in a village of 2,000 inhabitants, Arzana, where they have 4 centenarians celebrated. Mamma mia. 4 celebrations, 4 centenarians in 2000. I say, I run to the municipality to see if they are documented. And amazingly, they were documented. So I say, maybe it's possible to validate. So again, I went to the meeting, I congratulate them and so on, and we started with my colleague from Sassari to go from village to validate. And that was the story, and you will see the blue zone. It comes from there. Look. Where is my... Oh, it is in Spanish. Wonderful. In mine, it was in French. So, the most important today is that the population is aging. We have more and more persons above 60, and this is something we will definitively not change. The proportion of persons that are older is increasing. And so the objective is for sure not to exclude these people from the society, to keep them included up to the end. And that's the most important challenge today. And just to say there is a very big difference in the studies. You have individual longevity. Why? A given person is living longer, that person, because she eats bananas, because she do exercise and so on. So a given person, individual longevity. You have a lot of study in the scientific papers talking about individual longevity. The difference is population longevity, where in a given area, more persons reach 100. Because at that time, it's very useful because they share the same environment, they eat the same food, they have the same fresh air, and so on. So it's easier to understand what happens if you work with population longevity. So with population longevity, you will directly have a view on what are the lifestyle and environment factors that favor the longevity. This is the first blue zone that I identify in Sardinia. So as I told you, we were going from village to village, looking all the document and checking if the centenarian were real centenarian. And it could be the end of the story. I may go back to Montpellier and to say, yes, these people are real centenarian. Close the door, all is finished. And again, at that moment, I change. And I say to my colleagues, look, that was the map. The map of centenarian that have been surveyed. And what I did, I put all these centenarians by place of birth, where they were born. And I say, look to my colleagues, when there is a lot of centenarian in one village, there is also a lot in the neighboring village. And again, and again, and again. And at that moment, that very moment, I took my blue pen and I did, with my blue pen, the map that is on the right. This is already a smoothed map, but this is, if I did not have my blue pen at that time, it will not be blue zone, and you will not be here today. That's clear. Why blue? Because I like the blue. Nothing yet, no other explanation. I like the blue color. Can you imagine if at that time I have only a red pencil? It will be the red zone, and you will not come here today. The red zone will be already long time forgotten. So the blue zone is this one. But when I came back to my colleagues, they were really still skeptical. Even a Danish friend, it took 10 years to agree with the situation, because it was so amazing. In the village of Villa Grande, the village that is on the top of the hill in terms of longevity, there is nowadays 2,500 inhabitants. And during the last 2 or 3 decades, live in this village 60 centenarians. In my village of the same size in Belgium, there will be 60. And moreover, among the 60, 30 men and 30 women. So, men in the audience, if you want to live longer, please, let's go to Sardinia. Women, close your, don't, 4 men, only 4 men, okay? It's amazing. Usually you should know that in centenarian you have 6, 7 or 8 female for 1 male. In this village, 30. Amazing. Oh. And we published a paper only in 2004 because they were all skeptical. So it took 4 years to publish a paper. And that's the first paper, Identification of the Geographic Area. And you can see that it is written in the text, was defined as the blue zone because in the course of the analysis it was originally delineated using a blue market. I wanted to put it clearly in the text. That's why the blue zones are existing nowadays. Can you imagine that today, if you look in the scientific literature, you have more than 200 papers that has the term blue zone in the title. Not only in the text, in the title. So it's really something that has become in 25 years, something very, very important. So, what does it mean? You have Villa Grande that is on the top of the longevity. This is the blue. You have Italy that is the yellow, and the red is Sweden. Sweden is well known as a longevity area. But what you can see is that at the age 80, there is a crossover. The curve from Villa Grande go above the curve of Sweden, which means that if I want to be short, it seems that starting from 80, people in Villa Grande forget to die. They forget to die. And they live slowly longer up to 100. Still nowadays, just recently, we celebrated a new centenarian in Villa Grande, and his brother, 102, died just a bit before. 2 men. This is really amazing and unique. So, after that, we, with the help of National Geographic, we visited similar places of the world, and Okinawa on the right was well known as a place where people are living longer, but be attentive. There is a lot of centenarian, but starting from the generation 1947, you have a lot of obesity, and really a lower number of centenarians will arrive there. Why? Because they were under the US directory. The children in the school receive their lunchbox from the US. So a full change. And if you go nowadays in Okinawa, you have on one side centenarian, very small, 1.30 meters, and on the other side, you have all young people quite obese and so on. This is really amazing. It's a proof that the lifestyle is crucial to explain the longevity. Costa Rica, in the region of Nicoya, there was a friend, Luis, that told me that there was a lot of nonagenarian in this area. We were there and we identify a blue zone there. Icaria. Because I tried to go to Peru and to Ecuador in Vilcabamba. So I got all the data from Vilcabamba because it was well known that there are centenarians in this area. But I did not succeed. And as I was in touch with all European countries, and I have been in Athens with the statistics so often, I have all the data from Greece. I visited Creta. I was not convinced. And then I discovered Icaria, a hidden island, just a few 20 kilometers on 8 kilometers, with limited number of people. So we were there. I remember in February 2008, and we were in the cloud. We saw some men there, and these men shake my hand. And when they shake my hand, I still feel it. It was so strong, amazing. And these people are really living longer and in better condition. And the same for sure in Sardinia. So these are the blue zone that I discovered already 20 or 15 years ago. And a new one, Martinique. So I was invited to go to a celebration for centenarian in Martinique. And I started to be interested in Martinique. In my computer, I have the list of 2,500 centenarians from Martinique. And it's really amazing to see how these people are living longer. Leonie is in the middle there. She was there 109. She is today more than 110. And she is living with daughter and granddaughter just in front of the sea in wonderful condition there in Martinique. So this is the last blue zone that I identify. We have now 5 blue zones around the world. And what we do, we try to understand. So I've been so many times in this area, and I mostly observe. I did not ask a lot of questions. I just look and try to see how these people are living there. And I identify several factors that are associated with this exceptional longevity. And the first factor is nutrition. You have to eat not too much. Stop when your stomach is 80% full. Please don't forget to eat vegetable and local, seasonal, also seasonal fruit and vegetable and so on. All this is very important. No special diet. Don't talk about vegetarian. Don't talk about Mediterranean diet. No, it's just to eat what is available where you are living, not too much. And this is something that you have to consider. And for sure to exclude all that come from the food industry. The food industry is killing us. If you read all the ingredients that you are not now obliged to put on the box there, if it is long, let it there. Let it there. It's really wrong. Not for you. But if you are living in a city, you cannot have a garden and so on. So there is a lot of things to change and to learn from these people. The second point, look here, Salvatore Angelo, 102. Look what he is eating. He has some goat cheese and fruit on the side and a glass of wine. For sure he died. He died at 102 or 103. But he ate very simply. He was very simple in what he's eating there. So the next is to move. You have to move naturally, not really fitness, exercise and so on. No, naturally. Look, Johan Ruravets, he was 112. Here he is 108. He died at 114 in Menorca. It was really a wonderful person, I remember. He was even able to sign on the photo, you see, his signature that he did for me at 112. And he was living with his daughter there. So move every day. In Sardinia, you have to climb to go from one place to the other one. Don't use the car if you can do it by foot. When we arrive here in Salamanca, we did not take a taxi. The queue for the taxi was so long. I said to Miriam, let's go by foot. And we discover a wonderful city. Yes. Okay. Now, the next one is the family. And on the left, you have what I name the Costa Rican kiss. These people has really limited thing at home, but they love each other. Look these faces. Wonderful. And on the right, you have a couple living very simply in front of the fire in Sardinia. So the family support is essential. In Villa Grande, 2,700 inhabitants, nobody goes to nursing home. If somebody is a bit in a problematic situation, he will be helped by the family, and if he has no children or family, the neighbor will come, and so on and so on. In the village, on the wall, you have all the painting of the centenarian. You do longevity celebration. There is a lot of things showing that the centenarian are really part of the society. So the community level, and that's what I show here. In Costa Rica, this is on the left, a longevity celebration in Nicoya, and the vice president of Costa Rica came, as well as the director of the province. And on the right, you have the only person that in Nicoya I found in a nursing home. He was a bit out of order, but still well surrounded by people who love himself. So all the family and community level is really essential. And for sure, try to avoid the stress. The stress is the most important killer in our society. The stress, you have really to look positively. This is something. Lose these. On the left, you have Faustino. He wakes up every Saturday morning to go to the market in Nicoya. In the middle and on the right, these are people from Okinawa. And this is really, I met really around the world so wonderful persons that are above 100. And the next is to keep care of others and of the nature. The nature is so important. You are surrounded by the nature, and that's something you have to respect, really. And the last principle is to have a purpose in your life. And the purpose in your life may be like Leonise. She was reading the Bible all the time. You see, this is Leonise reading the Bible at 109. And on the right, Felipe Godoy. I am always a bit curious, and I visited his sleeping room. And what I saw in his sleeping room is a pin-up and the last dinner of Jesus side to side. Can you imagine this? This is really showing I'm always a bit curious, you see. But this is something that it's very important. I will not do very strong questionnaire asking, no, just to look around, to feel the situation. So this is really what we can do. And now I will do something that was not planned in the system. I will go closer to you because I don't like to be too highlighted. Because what I will say now is really for you. Wait. What I learned there, it's very important. In fact, I am not ready to find a new blue zone. Okay, it will be the 6th or the 7th. My good friend Shema want to have a blue zone in Galicia. Okay, but first you have to prove it. But this is not the most important point. Nowadays, we have to transfer the lesson of the blue zone in our society. It's time today to change. If we are not changing, we are going against the wall. I'm sure. I have a friend that tells me that in 300 years, there will be nobody on earth. Nobody on earth. Yes, but this is modeling and so on. But it's something that is a bit amazing. Already the proportion of oldest old is increasing, and the oldest on earth is not increasing. It's always 116, 17. We are not yet at 150. Jean Calment, 122, is still far to be on the objective. So, living blue zone is really the main objective today for us. And, this is inspiration for us, okay? Alors, on the next one. It started in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, they wanted to develop, you see, to develop a blue zone, to use really something to say, okay, we have to go in the direction. And there we are in 2017. And even after, you see, I was in Groningen, north of the Netherlands, and it was written, man-made blue zone, which means that we create the situation of a blue zone. It's not something that exists. We will create it following the 7 principles of the blue zone. And so they introduced in the Netherlands a neighborhood where they tried to build housing not too high, just 2 or 3 floors. But you see that between, you have no car, you have common garden. We have been in Singapore. There is a lot of garden in Singapore. There is a lot of tree. But I understood that you cannot pick any fruit. You cannot do, no, it's just to see. Here you have the common garden, everybody will work. You see there in the middle. And if your children, your grandchildren need your help, you will have the support. Nowadays, one of the most important problems for our society is who will take care of my children? If the grandparents are there, they are the best. And they may transfer their knowledge. The most important nowadays in a society, we are losing the knowledge of the oldest old. We are losing the knowledge. And it's not artificial intelligence that will replace it. Not at all. Artificial intelligence will tell you only what you know. Okay? They will never discover and imagine the blue zone. This is something that was created from zero. So this is very important. And we organize also in the Netherlands a festival blue zone where you have developer, architect, gardenist, a lot of people coming together to say, what can we do to improve the quality of life? And the Netherlands is really going on in this direction. But not only in the Netherlands. Look, in Chile, we have a team in Chile that wants really to do something to improve the quality of life in Chile. And now I am even some contact with Mexico, with Ecuador. So all Latin American is really going in the direction of blue zone. And it's not, this may be the reason why I am also so much in contact with Spain and Portugal. The links between Latin America and Spain and Portugal is very strong. And so that's very useful. And these people are really, they have today a meeting nowadays in the Santiago there, and I will be in touch with them just later today because they are progressing. This is Ximena, Giancarla, and Marcela. And this is what we do now, promoting the living blue zone. So it's not anymore the blue zone, it's promoting everywhere, pushing people to go in the direction of the principle of the blue zone, to be more with their family, more in the community, to avoid stress, and a lot of things like that. It's really important for our society. I'm not anymore a demographer when I do this. I'm just somebody who wants to transfer to you some important message. Please consider that this is the way to solve our society. This is the living blue zone. And, okay. We will try to see, we introduce a lot of possibility to explain what can be done in the world to do living blue zone. And look, I ask you the question. Are you going in this direction? It's really important. Look now, I will close my speech by showing you some very important photo. Look this. This is a goat there. You see the goat? She's looking the ocean in Icaria. It's amazing. And it's an island when they take time to do everything, including to die. That's why they live longer. They forget to die. It's really an amazing place, Icaria. If you have the possibility, go there. But if you go there, be very humble. Don't show yourself telling, I am here. We are not going in blue zone like in a zoological garden. I'm talking at some place like Geronto Park. I have been in Bama Valley in China. It's a village where they show all the centenarian with the way to go from one place to the other one. And when one centenarian die, they pick from another village and to put there the centenarian. It's amazing. I name it the Geronto Park, and it's just like in a zoo. You go and see not the elephant, you go to see the centenarian. This is not what you have to do. If I go somewhere there, I am very humble. I'm just look and discover this is something. So this is Icaria. And the next one is Aralt in Chile. Look how he's smiling. Hey, I have a contact with these people. I don't ask a lot of questions. The most important is to be in touch with them, to be close. And that's what I found with Aralt, just centenarian. It's just like here in Chile. And Antonio Todi, he was 110, he died at 112, already long time ago in 2000. I proclaim him being the oldest man on earth at that moment. But look this face, a wonderful person, very active and so on. So he was 112 in 2002, Antonio Todi. And I visited in Olot, north of Spain, Maria Brañas. And Maria Brañas was the oldest person on earth. And I remember I was with my colleagues, and together they asked questions. And Maria was there, and the daughter has a microphone, and Maria has her ear, and she's shading. Always like this. I did not say anything. But after that, we took the photo. And Maria was there, and we were around Maria. And at that moment, I took her hand. This is my hand with the hand of Maria. And then I understand really the most important point. Look, Maria, with me. She started to talk with me at that moment. As soon as I took her hand. She did not say any word before. But when I took her hand, she started to talk. I did not understand what she told me. But I understand the most important. And the most important message, how can we live longer and better? Two things. First, you have to live. And not to survive. To live. And then you take the I on live and you replace by your O. And to love. Live and love. This is my message. Thank you.
Pasamos aquí. Bueno, muchísimas gracias, maestro. Poco más nos queda que comentar, pero tengo algunas preguntas que quisiera compartir con usted. Y hay un problema de traducción, o sea, se supone que hago las preguntas en inglés porque si no, no las va a entender, ¿no? Vale, ok. Bueno, pues, me dirijo a ustedes primero en español para hacer una pequeña introducción sobre esto. Y ahora pasaremos a inglés. So, we will speak English now.
Yes.
Yes. And they have the translation in the ear, so it's no problem. Well, we understood a lot of things, and the key and the most important things of the blue zones and your work, which is amazing. This is quite tricky. I find we're talking about this. This is a kind of a poetic vengeance that we hear talking about these things when someone who I can't describe said here one thing, viva la muerte. So this is a poetic revenge we're doing today here, and the first thing I want to ask you is the concept of longevity, because language is important, and there is kind of a debate between how to call this, getting old, growing old, or longevity. Mm-hmm. The word longevity is more positive. It implies life more than death. And I think it's proper to call longevity this thing we're involved in. What do you think?
My feeling, last week I was in Paris. There was a very important international meeting of the Human Mortality Database. And we were talking all the time on mortality. And I'm talking about longevity.
Yeah.
This is really the two sides of the same coin. But for me, longevity is a positive something inside. And it's really essential. Our objective is not to live to 100. Our objective is really to live, and that our life will be full of relationship with others, with children, with neighbor, and doing things that are really positive for the society. That's crucial. And the person that I met all around the world that are very old are really open, smiling, positive, and so on. This is what I want to bring as message. I will say that nowadays, compared to my colleagues from the scientific research, I am more preaching. That's why I appreciated to be there on the top. It's like the priester in the church that is preaching to everybody. But I went down after. You understand the difference between the two? Huh? Okay, that was something that, because I don't want to stay there. It is something for all of us.
It's a gesture.
Exactly, exactly.
So, and it implies also, well, I've talked with Juan Martin from Zenier about this as well. It implies more than a charge, more than a burden for society. There's these things of what do we do with our old people. Some kind. There is an impression in society that is a burden, and you and Juan as well see this as an opportunity. It's just a mind changer. I mean, this is crucial to understand that it's not a burden, but it's an opportunity.
Exactly. I feel that our society that want to be effective, progressive, and so on, tried to throw away from the active life people, even if they are only 50 or 55. Sometimes in a company at 55, you are already too old, you have to go out. Why is it not possible that we keep in our society the old person, even above 65, 68, and so on, and to do something that is not just bringing money, that is improving the quality of life there. We have to change the quality of life in our company, in our society, to avoid the stress, to try to reconcile the family life and the community life with the work life. And we are doing, in the Netherlands, we have a network named Vitaliteit. And Vitaliteit, this is to push the company, the big company, to have place to stop, place to meet, place to eat correct thing, and so on, to do exercise. A lot of things like that. And I would say that we have the possibility, but therefore we have to throw away the logic of business, the logic of money coming and coming. You should understand that somebody who is 60, 67, he prefer to collect feelings that are positive than to collect money. It's fully different, okay? At one moment, I have 3 daughters, and around 50, they decide fully to change their life. Before, they were taking care of the children, and I have 16 grandchildren, so they have a lot of work to do. But when the children grow, they started to turn to other person and to have an activity that is different, really open to other person. And that's really essential. We are not alone on this earth. We are not alone. And then you will lose your stress. You will lose your stress.
And And in the mind-changing thing, that's another point. The purposes. Where when you're young, you look for some kind of purposes, and then when you growing up, going mature, you change those purposes. As you said, for example, the obsession for money. It just changes into another purposes that has to do more with a spiritual thing, but also with the sensations of love, of being touched, of being embraced, being hugged, of being, every day. So these are little but very, very important purposes in life that goes changing through the years. This purpose that you talk about have to do with this?
In fact, that's why I introduce this term live and love. Because for me, this is a very short summary on what we have to do. Don't forget to live and don't forget to love. And if you do this, whatever your age, whatever your situation, you will really be helpful for yourself, but also for everybody around you. We are not living alone on this earth. And the stress is destroying so many lives. This is really amazing. When you talk to somebody, are you talking positively, or are you talking about the bad weather, the family difficulty, and so on and so on? What I'm doing now, and it's very new in my life, when I use the public transportation, I go often to meet somebody that I never saw before, and I start to talk with them. There was waiting for the bus, there was something arriving a bit like this. He was without house, and I started to understand and to be really positive with him. And it's very often that when we left after the train is arrived, they say thank you. It was a good moment. It brings me a lot of positive energy. So please think about to be in touch of everybody around us and to be in touch with positive and lovely words. And that will improve the whole situation around you.
And it's in our hands, because it's very rare to just say to an unknown person that we meet somewhere, that we have to wait in some place for something, just to say hello, how are you? That's a good beginning in order to imply the decision to go in the direction of a good communication and to the bonds.
No, I remember just last week we were in the train with Miriam. We were on the 2 seat there, and there was a couple on the other side. So I moved myself and I went to sit nearby, and we started to talk. It's amazing. You have to go to try to connect, and then you will discover, and not to take about me, but to take about what we consider as the most important in our life. And that's, if you exchange this, for me, this is now essential. This is now essential.
Mm-hmm. What the 7 principles you have for the Blue Zone? It connects with other organisms and institutions, and in the main points. You have to eat well. You have to avoid the stress. You have to move. You have to have a purpose of life. You have to, establish the best family bonds or community bonds. You have to also, have a spiritual kind of world. But slightly, but they are slightly different from others. What are these differences that you establish in opposition to others?
What is important first? I just have to mention that if I have chosen 7, because I like the
The number.
The number 7.
Like the blue.
7 and blue. 7 and blue, these are my two favorites.
7 is your lucky number.
Then the big difference is that I am promoting 7 principles to follow together.
Mm-hmm.
There are also groups that try to help you to eat better, to do exercise, but all separately. The two main differences is that I push all together. It's not needed to eat better if you don't move, if you don't talk with your neighbor, and so on and so on. So it should go together.
Together.
That's something very...
A combination.
Exactly. And the second point is that I'm not pushing all these associations that wants to help you as a coach, a personal coach. You see, you alone will be pushed to live longer and so on. We have to do it together. It brings in that additional dimension. So I perceive the human coaching as a bit egoistic. Here we do it together and it goes really better. So all the principles together and at the community level. These are the two main points. And what we do now in the Living Blue Zone, we are having a lot of links with sister association. So there will be sister association that will put on their website, we are following the Blue Zone, and we will put them in our website also, because we don't want to throw them away. We just want to push all together in this direction. There is really a need for our society to have this effort. And that has nothing to do with business and with money. This is with your personal life, and your personal life in the society, because we are not alone on this earth.
Yeah, pushing all together and going there everywhere together is a good point nowadays. And as you said, it has nothing to do with money. What has to do with money is this interest of power people in dividing us, in polarizing us. And then, for example, Elon Musk. He says he wants to give us the recipe of immortality, and I'm you know what I think. Who wants to be all his life with Elon Musk? Oh. This is a really this is a condemnation. Yeah, right. But it's the other way around. You're talking about unity, going all together to that, and they are. And we are into a dynamic of polarization, division. Yeah. What's the way out now for humankind?
In my investigation, I succeed to collect 1,500 persons in Belgium who reach 105. You should understand that to reach 105 is only one centenarian out of 10 that reach 105. So it's a very selected group. So I identify 1,500 of them during the last 30 years. Not only 60 are alive now, but if you take them on the long time. And I try to collect a lot of information on them from the population register, from the census and so on. But just to take a short example, among these 1,500, 60 are monk and nun. Monk and nun.
Monk and nun.
Does it mean that going out from this room, everybody will go and try to go to the cloister or so?
To the convent? No.
Because in this case, there will be no baby and no children after. I hope so, because nowadays we never know what happens.
It depends.
Yeah. But so this is something that is crucial. You need really to find a way to live, and this is far from all this approach that wants to collect more and more clients, more and more business, more and more excitement and so on. This is really something that we want to improve. Can you imagine that something that is so beautiful as the Olympics, the main sponsor is Coca-Cola? How is it possible? It is a nonsense. And there is a lot of nonsense because you mix the business with the welfare of the population. And so all that I met, they did not want to live long. They did not want to live long. They just stay there slowly, but inside their society. They are well surrounded. We discussed this morning that in some country, I don't know which country was it, but some people were discovered dead in their house, nobody now. Nobody was aware of this. They died 3 months ago and nobody discovered it. How many persons...
In Valencia.
How many persons are now living alone and don't see another person during the day? And in the cities, yes, they will look through the window and see a lot of persons, but a personal contact with another person, amazing. And it's not the TV and the city that will replace it. Try to have this contact, positive contact with other person.
Yes, this terrible story left us in front of a reality which is very, well, it's terrible reality, that we don't have the proper connections with the people we are surrounded. No,
I think it's really crucial, and I like also to be close with the children, the small children, and avoiding all those what is just said nowadays. It's not good. Please be careful with it. No, the young children are really wonderful person, and when I go every Sunday to the mass in my city, and when you shake the hand and you say hello to everybody, and there is a lot of children around me, I will all the way go and kiss them and take them, because they are really part of our society and the future. This is the future, and we have to bring them in the good direction. That's really important. Our children will be the world of tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's something.
They will be old as well.
And just look, if you look the life of a person from 80 to 100, try to live as long as possible in good health, but you cannot change a lot of things. From 60 to 80, then you may replace this from your art, you may change a lot and treat a lot of disease, and if you succeed, you will go on. But from 40 to 60, think about the prevention. Think about what I can do in my life to live longer and better. And from 20 to 40, don't forget to educate your children in the good direction and to say no at one moment. Nowadays, when we cross on the street, the children, the parents are looking on their tablet and so on. They don't take care of their children. The children may do what they want. And they say yes, and okay. Nowadays, I would say the part of the population that is well educated is more in favor of the no kids policy. No kids, because the wife and the husband wants to work as long as possible. So the kids are disturbing. So who has children nowadays? The lower class. And this is the population we have for tomorrow. You will see there will be more obese person, because we have really to think about our future. Yeah. And if we don't think about our future alongside the blue zone, this is why the blue zone are needed, we are going really to a direction that is really negative. It's time to wake up. That's my point.
Yeah, that's the point. And it's, things and dynamics now are into this division and this, confrontation and things that are not healthy for the mind and for the body, because what you prove in this blue zone experience is that the balance between physics and psychological points are definitely. I mean, you could have good genes, but in the balance of the atmosphere you're living and the impulse in terms of love and feeling good in the community and your family are as important as genes.
Exactly. No, the genes are not enough. For example, I have a lot of friends that were very clever at school. They did nothing. They have, in the secondary degree, they were 95%, and after in their life, they forget everything. I think it's not important to be fully intelligent with a lot of things. What is important is to have the touch with the society and to feel what is needed in our society. And a lot of art of enterprise, a lot of professors should favor this more than the knowledge. the knowledge. Now we have the artificial intelligence, and it's okay. You do. If you don't need, you look, and then they'll find the answer. But not things that are not existing in the box. And they will never find the blue zone if I was not there to put my blue pen. That's important.
Let's go through the characteristics of the blue zones. For example, Sardinia.
Yeah.
Sardinia, what it really amazed me it was what you pointed out about, there were a population of 100-year-old men. And when I was trying to work on an article that you helped me out with it, and Juan and Chema Falde, who's here, from Galicia, helped me to understand, it was very hard to find men. I mean, they are all, in this country, women. So Sardinia is in a specific case of male longevity. Why?
The role of men and women in Sardinia is a bit different. And in fact, and that's something that sometimes people say you are crazy. I don't know a lot of things. In the research on blue zone, the why, we have not yet any answer. It's not talking about 5 or 6 male centenarians that you will have the answer. What I show you here are observation. I observe, I feel. It was important, but I don't know up to now what is the link between these factors and the fact that they live longer. And in the case of male centenarian in Sardinia,
still a mystery.
I really discovered that they are really amazing person. The male, more than the female. Male centenarians are really exception. You have seen Johan Rio da Veste.
Yeah.
Oh, terrific. I have some photo I will not show you. But Maria Brañas was also. And my experience that I show you with Maria Brañas is unique. Because she did not say any word except when I took her hand. And then I have a video where you see that she is talking to me.
You just felt.
Yeah. That's no. This is something that is fully different, and even my colleagues does not understand. They want to ask questions. What do you eat? What do you do? No, this is not. No.
Beyond words.
Yeah, we will see.
And we talk about this today, that it is so honest to say, when they ask you something and you don't know, you say, the proper answer is to say, I don't know.
No.
Because it's the beginning to curiosity and to get to know something.
They tried to find the genes. Okay, at one moment we saw ApoE, that was a gene. Wow, one gene is responsible of longevity. Forget it. We have now not 1,000, but now they decide that the genes are not enough because you need to talk about epigenetics, how the genes are activated or not depending your lifetime, and so on. We are nowhere because we need to have large sample. They want to have 1,200, 2,000 to say something about genetics. We never have this. We never. So, okay, it's still for future. We will see.
And it's a question sometimes of philosophy of life, what do you think? Because in Okinawa, something could explain the longevity thing with a word, which is ikigai.
Ikigai, yes.
What does it mean, ikigai? Tell
Ikigai,
us.
this is a philosophy of life. But you have to understand in Okinawa what was the situation at the end of the war, the Battle of Okinawa.
Yeah.
The people were running in cave to be hidden. A lot of people died. And when they came back out of the cave, they were really a different world. So they have in their life something really crazy. But in Okinawa, you have 8 women for 1 man. Maybe because a lot of men died during the war.
Yes.
This is one of the explanations. But their philosophy is really crucial, the ikigai approach. But you have approximately the same, la pura vida.
Pura vida in Costa Rica. I was going to ask you about Nicoya, where they said this plan de vida, which means to this country Costa Rican motto of life, which is pura vida.
Yeah.
Everybody says, when they say goodbye or say hello, pura vida.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's also a philosophy.
This is the same perspective, the life.
Yeah.
The life and the love.
Pure life.
Yes, the pure life, the real life.
It's extremely, it's an extreme concept of defending life in its own better condition. And what is going on in Galicia? We are all, like expecting Galicia in order to be...
What we are trying to do now is to identify the area in Spain where people are living longer. So my good friend there explained me that Madrid is on the top. Okay, I will challenge this because I want to put people by place of birth. And a lot of people in Madrid are not born in Madrid. So we will try to do it. I have the data from INE on all centenarians of Spain distributed by province of birth. And we will be able to compare this with the number of newborn in this province and to see which province are at the top and to launch really investigation in this province because the País Vasco, yeah, that's also, Galicia is there, but Madrid is there.
Soria, they told me.
Yeah, and I have also in Portugal, in Porto, I will go next week in Braga. I will talk to all the medical doctors from this area. They are also convinced that it's something very crucial in this area. I cannot imagine that when you cross the border between Galicia and the north of Portugal, there is a difference. They live in the same condition. So I want to put Portugal and Spain in the same box. And
it's a peninsula.
Yeah, exactly.
Iberia.
Yeah. And as soon as we will discover the place where they live longer, and I hope that the province of Ourense will be included in this because I met a lot of very old persons there, we will go into detail to understand the situation. So we have still a lot of things to do in Spain, but for me, I have not yet finished to work with Spanish and Portuguese people on this, and Latin American at the same time, because they want to invite me in Vilcabamba, that place of Ecuador that was well known long time ago as the longevity area. But okay, we will see. We will organize this.
Everybody wants you there.
Yeah,
everybody wants you.
No.
They want everybody to come. Michel Poulain, so come here.
I have to organize myself.
But you have to reduce a kind of a stress. It could be stressy.
I will go slowly, and with Miriam we will go to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia in 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. I don't know what we will tell them there, but okay, then we will slow down because it's important to be able to put all this together in the good direction. That's very crucial. And
it's crucial as well, the data. I mean, in order to study these kind of things, because previous experiences in countries like Pakistan, it happened that the data was not reliable because people were exaggerating the years. So they were lying about the years they have and adding, which is also a miracle because everyone wants to rest. Yeah. But that they were adding years and make this not very reliable.
I have a good
this?
example. I was in Georgia, and Georgia in Caucasus was well known as a place of and I was there in 2002. And the head of the pensioner, so the man that has a list of all pensioners, he has a full list of centenarians. As soon as we arrive in one village to meet that person, does not exist. So I did a long turn all around Georgia to find these centenarians and did not find them. And the last day I was invited by somebody, and he said, my mother is 110 and live in Tbilisi. Wow! I jumped to Tbilisi and I saw Marta and discussed with Marta, took photo and so on, wonderful 110. 2 months later, I received from my colleague in Tbilisi the document of the population register from 38, 40, 42 up to 48. And in the last one, She was born in 1901. No, in the first one, 1901, and we were in 2002, so she was 101. And then suddenly the 1901 became two years after 1900, and then 1895, and even the 5 was thrown away and put a 1. A wonderful person. She was succeed to age 20 years in only 10 years. This is the concrete proof that something happened. Why? I don't know. Is it Stalin? Stalin was in favor of the longevity in Georgia, but I have the proof, and I put in all my article, all the page where you see it's written in Georgian, but you can see the numbers are the numbers, and you see the numbers in each book. It's amazing. I am very proud that we succeed to prove it. So Marta was only 110. So I wrote a paper that I presented in Warsaw. They are some centenario in Georgia. But no people who exceed, I have even 130 there. This is amazing. No. Even Jean Calment, that reached 122, I enter in the group of a researcher dealing with validation of age after she was validated. And so it has been validated by my colleagues, and I did not want to go into detail to see what has been done. I believe that they did good work. The only thing that I did, I went to the cemetery in Arles, I put my hand on the grave of Jeanne, and I say, Jeanne, sleep well. That's important.
Yeah. Well, maybe someone wants to ask you something here. So hand here. Maybe we can collect hands up, and then we have the first question here, then the second, third. So it's all in the first line. So, Mr. You have the word. Maybe you can. Bueno, le doy el micrófono.
Microphone is coming.
Microphone is coming. An extra microphone is coming. Vamos a lo que les pediría son brevedad en las preguntas. ¿No tenemos? Pues entonces pasamos el mío. Lo compartimos. Vale, yo voy de aquí para allá. Pregunte usted.
Sí. Bonjour, bienvenue en España. Let's go into English for the translation. Fantastic what you're doing. I congratulate you. I believe in blue zones. Actually, I invited you for October 1st, 2026, when we will launch Madrid as a Blue Zone 2.0 with life expectancy of 86.1 years. And these are European Union statistics. Eurostat. They are not even Spanish numbers. But what you're doing is fantastic, so maybe you can present that in Madrid October 1st, 2026. My question is about another blue zone that is very popular that I did not see in your map, and I have visited, Loma Linda in California. In Loma Linda, also they have this special religious group, the Seventh-day Adventists, and because of that, they don't smoke, they don't drink, and so on and so forth, and they have apparently the longest life expectancy in California and in the USA. Why didn't you mention it when apparently...
Okay, then, no, it's very important to mention the story of Loma Linda. When National Geographic wanted to do a paper on Sardinia and Okinawa, they asked to have a US taste. It was compulsory for them to put something from the US in the paper. And they look around and say, okay, Loma Linda will be most appropriate. I have been 3 times in Loma Linda. Okay, first of all, there is no proof that they live longer. I have never seen any scientific paper. What they do, they invite people to go there, and they arrive when they are already 20 or 25 or 30, and they stay there. So it's like a selection and so on. So you cannot prove that they live longer. And secondly, in our country, all community that are religious community are living longer. This is definitively. Our monk and nun are living longer. And if you have even some special community in the mountain of France or Italy and so on that try to live differently, they will live longer. This is selected group. So I have been in Loma Linda. I am not impressed, and I never put Loma Linda among the blue zone. It is not a blue zone. It is just maybe a population that succeed to live longer, but we have a lot of population of the same type in the world that may be put in evidence. You need to have the proof. And when you talk about Madrid, I will do it before October. I will check where are born the people that are living in Madrid, because this is important. They come from and what is important for the longevity is the first part of your life, where you were born and what kind of genes you have because of this area there, and what kind of life you have during the first part of your life. And then if you go to the city, and those who go to the city are not the same as those who stay in the village. They are selected. And finally, it may be that at the end of the day, you have a longer longevity in city than in the village. But if it is the case, you will push everybody to go to the city to live longer, what is not the most effective. So there is a lot of things. I will be very interested to go to Madrid, and we will discuss together before to see exactly what will be our message when we will be at this longevity meeting next year. That's a good point.
Hola. Sí, hola. Estaremos encantados de cambiar el lema Madrid me mata por Madrid, viva Madrid.
De Madrid al cielo.
De Madrid al cielo, sí. Había bueno, también, o sea, tiene que ver con eso. ¿Y hay más preguntas? You have the microphone. Ah, se lo han quitado. Yo había dicho que se lo pasaran. Sí. A ver. Otra vez.
Mamma mía.
Bueno, si quiere. Un problema técnico. Funcionaba, ¿eh? ¿Le pasó el mío? Ahí va.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to pass me your microphone. Well, good morning. Thank you so much to stay with us. It was wonderful to hear you and to hear about your knowledge and the way you look for this kind of people and the geographic components where they lived. It's okay that you think about like that about Loma Linda. But I would like to ask, I'm Maria Augusta, I'm professor and researcher in emotional education and emotional intelligence, and I used to research the profile about emotional competence of people. And as you understand, I study neuroscience, and hearing you, I understand that there are a relationship, a very little relationship or big relationship between the way you research about the life living of these people and the things that I study about emotions and neurotransmitters that we develop inside, deeply inside in our body to feel ourselves quite well. Subjective well-being. Mm-hmm. That kind of life, eating quite well, seasonal feed, without stress, without transformation, anything about processing feed and so on, that people and interacting with the others, they produce a lot of serotonin that fills themselves quite well with themselves, and they produce a lot of dopamine and of course oxytocin, because as you say, they love and live. Yeah. And they live one with another, and without stress about exciting about another things. Do you agree with this kind of vision?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can answer. You can answer.
¿Podría...?
You can answer the question. If you believe in this kind of...
Yes. Yeah. No.
Perdón, ¿podría usted, por favor, aclarar en Galicia qué zonas se está encontrando de zonas azules?
It's about Galicia.
Yes.
What is the position of Galicia now in terms of the blue zones? What is the situation now?
I think Galicia is on the list of candidates. Okay, but we need more. We cannot. That's what I explained to Shema. We cannot come and in 2 weeks to say it's a blue zone. No, we need to go to feel. I am 25 years in Sardinia, so it's a long story to be convinced that it is something important. So I hope that we will reach. The conditions are there, okay? The data should prove, and then we should really be in touch with all these centenarians. We met already some centenarians in Galicia. They are really wonderful person. But it's really a long story. It is not... And nowadays, we have the other task. This is the living blue zone. Because it's not only the mountain of Galicia and so on. It's everywhere. Okay? And even in Madrid, we will have some work to do. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure we will do some work in Madrid. But Salamanca is high in my agenda. Since I have visited Salamanca, I consider that it's very high. The quality of life seems to be very, very positive.
Very positive. Do you have a question there? No. ¿Es verdad? Okay. Hay más preguntas aquí en el otro lado. Sí. ¿Alguna mano más que yo esté prevenido? Ahí al fondo. Vale.
Thank you very much, Dr. Poulain, for such a great conference. I would like to ask you about spirituality. How much important is for you spirituality or faith in any of religions? Just that.
I fully agree that the spirituality is crucial. You are not on this earth without links with some... Whatever the religion, I'm not in favor of a given specific religion or another. What is the dimension that there is something else on the top? And personally, I feel I am always interacting with something outside. And I need very often to stop, to walk, and to be in touch, to see where I am, what I'm doing, and so on. This is something that is really crucial for me in this very speedy life and stress life that we have today. And it's not when you enter at home directly to open the TV to look the artificial intelligence. And no, please take moment to be alone. I go very often in the forest and to walk in the nature. And at that moment, I'm not thinking about, it's just to keep in touch with something else, somebody or something else that is there and there. That's very important. And I feel it in all the person in the blue zone. That's clear.
Hay otra pregunta ahí al fondo, en la mitad del... ¿Alguien levantó la mano? Allí, mira.
Olá, bom dia. como foi dito aqui, atualmente os jovens têm uma dificuldade em se relacionar com outras pessoas por causa do stress do dia a dia, a ocupação, o trabalho, os estudos. Então eu gostaria de saber qual é o principal conselho que o Sr. Poulain tem para os jovens.
What's the main advice that you have for young people? Is that the question? Sí.
The first thing is be yourself. Be yourself. Find your own way, independently of all pressure that we receive from everywhere. The worst will be that you will be like this, you follow. No, be yourself. Find your way. And don't avoid to have a risky choice. As I explained, and that's why I spent a lot of time in my speech to show my trajectory. It's amazing. I start in nuclear science, where I wanted to go, to astrophysics, to demography, to migration, to centenarian, and now to philosophy. So it is really essential to be able to change and to take some risk. But this is what I name calculated risk. This is risk that you know really where they are. It's not to go and to do everything. It's to say, okay, I will try, I will change, I will do something, and I will go ahead. Please ask all the young people, and I have 16 grandchildren, and I'm very happy to see how they are going in all the direction, trying to do something concrete. And when I'm in school, I tell them, please do go with other person and do something like that. I think it's really essential, and not to stay without.
Es un gran consejo. ¿Seguro que hay más preguntas? ¿No hay más preguntas? Es una oportunidad única para preguntar. Una más. ¿El micrófono? ¿Dónde está el micrófono? Aquí. Vale. Otra.
It is about Vilcabamba, because I have been there in Ecuador. It's a beautiful place. In fact, there are many older people. The problem, as in many of these places, is that there are no historical records. You cannot even prove anyone older than 80 years of age. Forget about 90 or 100. But it is a beautiful place, and they have been campaigning within Ecuador that people there live over 100 years. So I imagine you find this problem everywhere. There are no historical records. I mean, things that you can verify, correct?
I have been astonished when I was in Sardinia the first time that the document exists. And when the Spanish and the Portuguese went in Latin America with the missionaries, they introduced and they put records. So I am sure that in all Latin American, the document exists that may prove the age of these people. But it is the work of the historical demographer. I am used to do this, and I spend time to look in all the birth register and so on. So it should be done. I'm sure that the data exist, but it's better to say they are old, I don't believe on this, or I believe, and so I hope it will be, it's in the plan to go to Vilcabamba. They want to invite me to go there, but I explained the Bama story, and the Bama story, so this is the village in China where there's supposed to be a lot of centenarian. Even my colleagues went there. I saw the photo of my colleagues in the museum. They were there. I was there. At the entry of the village, you have a big advertising. This is the way to follow to meet all centenarian in the village. Okay. So I went to the first place and the second, and I decided to stay longer to see what happens. Every Chinese tourist arrive with 10 yen, say hello to the centenarian, and the centenarian put the 10 yen under the there. And every quarter, the son from the next room come and take all the money and bring it back. And I understand finally that in this village, when you look the age of the centenarian, it's not so well organized. In fact, when a centenarian dies in this village, they take another one in the other village and come there. So it is what I name a Geronto Park. It's like in a zoo. You go there to see elephant, to see crocodile, and to see centenarian. Why not? Okay, this is Bama. But to discover this, you have to go there to stay and to look around. And that's the thing. And Vilcabamba, I will see. I have not yet been there. I know that it was very famous. I will see and I will be objective. Maybe my result will be positive or negative, but it's even not important. What is important is that now the lesson of the blue zone that has been identified should be spread in the whole society. And the whole society needs this to go ahead. It's essential for me.
One question.
¿Alguna pregunta más?
Yes,
Aquí.
Here. Yes, one question. Couple of days ago, we wake up in Spain with a very sad news that an old man has been dead for 15 years in his flat in Valencia, which is the loneliness that we don't want. The non-desired loneliness is a big problem here in Spain. And what I would like to know is, which is your recommendation if we are in a society that in large cities like Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, we live very, very individual, and the future, it looks like it will be more individual, that it's possible that a man keeps 15 years dead in his own flat with nobody miss him. How we can accept this challenge that you propose, that we have to live more in community and to have plans with friends, with family, how we can do it if our society works in the other way. Thanks.
No, loneliness is a very important problem. On one side, you may agree that some person want to stay alone. This is in your head. They want to live on an island alone. That's not a problem. But most of them wants to be in touch with other person and does not have this opportunity, or does not have a push, inside their body, a push to go to others. But what I saw in Costa Rica is that in this village in Costa Rica, the person above 90 received a visit of somebody every month. So there is the social group in the village. They have the list of the 90 plus, and they visit each of them every month with a nurse and a person more sociologically impaired. So it's very important. And as you say, you may have situations where somebody died and nobody is informed because he was alone. The loneliness. I exclude those who want to live alone. You have some person that does not want to live with other person. But in most cases, you should do some effort. For sure, it does not bring money, but the quality of life is really improved for these people.
¿Alguna pregunta más habrá? ¿O no? Sí, aquí. Ya se están animando, pero bueno, yo creo que ya vamos a ir acabando.
Bueno, ¿se me oye, no? Sí. Muchas gracias por poder participar en este encuentro con la Universidad de Salamanca y con otros compañeros que veo que han venido de Portugal. Pero yo no quería dejar de hablar de un grupo que estamos aquí representando, aparte de la Universidad de Salamanca, que somos la Universidad de la Experiencia. Y uniéndolo con lo que se está comentando ahora de la soledad, del aislamiento, pues la verdad es que yo creo que es una iniciativa que se ha puesto en marcha en el año 90, a partir del 93 en Castilla y León, y en este caso coordinándose y de acuerdo con la Universidad de Salamanca, la Universidad Pública y también la Universidad Privada, la Universidad Pontificia. Entonces somos personas que a partir de los 50 años, quien quiera, puede realizar cursos dentro de la universidad y estudiar estudiar un grado dentro de la experiencia, un grado, y después continuamos haciendo itinerarios todos los años, ¿no? Entonces, yo me gustaría que algún investigador estudiara hasta qué punto estamos mejorando nuestra calidad de vida con esa formación, pero sobre todo con ese contacto que tenemos con nuestros compañeros. Además de eso, tenemos talleres donde hacemos otras actividades. Por ejemplo, yo pertenezco a uno que se llama recursos fílmicos, está relacionado con el cine, ver películas, una especie de cineforum, y ahí, desde luego, la universidad está contribuyendo muchísimo dentro de esta ciudad que es Salamanca, donde la universidad tiene mucha presencia, pues está contribuyendo mucho a que las personas mayores que vivimos aquí tengamos una mejor calidad de vida y, sobre todo, la socialización y el contacto, como he dicho antes. Entonces, bueno, si algún investigador se atreve, pues a lo mejor podía estudiar la incidencia en nuestras vidas de estas actividades y de estos proyectos.
She was talking about the Universidad de la Experiencia, something called the Universidad de la Experiencia, University of Experience. It's something that gathers people beyond 50 years old and, encourage them to study all together. And she wants to know if a scientific comes to this kind of organization of University of Experience to study the good influence that they're having on that all together with the work they're doing, with the studies, improving and learning things in every aspect, and maybe it's a good example of longevity in these terms.
I think that the opportunity to share the experience between generations is crucial. To transfer the knowledge of the old person to the young, it should be done within the companies, within the industry, and so there is a lot of place where it may be really useful. What I don't support is what we name in my country Université du Troisième Âge, which means that these are persons that are 60, 65, and they want to start to learn something new for them. This is really losing energy. I don't accept to do speech for people that are 65 and plus only. I want to have all the generation, because the solution is not to improve the quality of life of 65 plus within the group, to protect them and so on. It's to improve the relationship and the transfer of knowledge, of love between generations. That's really crucial for me.
Between generations becomes one. This is crucial, but it's very important, because what the importance of learning is the exchange between the points of view of different generations in order to live life. There's something that you can do. All people who can do who can express experience to younger generations. And the aspirations of younger generations in order to tell old people what worked or didn't work.
I remember when I was quite young, and I arrived in the village where my father was the only teacher, elementary teacher. I started to move everywhere in the village, but I started to visit the oldest old. And even at one moment, I put them together around the table and told them, you will explain me what happens in the village the first day of the war when the German army arrived. So we were together and we were writing together the history. And they were so happy. And I took a photo of all of them and I put it in my books on the history of the village. And these people, I was very young at that time. I was not yet 30, but I was interested to go and spend time with the oldest one already. Go and listen, even if it is something disturbing. I remember one boy there, I say one boy, 80 plus, he was always talking about the war, always telling the same thing. But, okay, you will progressively learn a lot. learn a lot, yes.
Yeah, those testimonies of the past are crucial for the people in the future. Bueno, yo creo que ha llegado el momento de decirle a Michel Poulain muchísimas gracias. Esta tarde me voy a Santander, voy a estar con mi madre, que tiene 90 años, y voy a tratar de ver en cuál de los 7 puntos flaquea. I'm going to Santander this afternoon. I'm going to meet my mother, she's 90, and I'm going to see one in these 7 points she's good at, or she's, trying to, yeah. Pero lo que le voy a pedir al público hoy es que le despida, maestro, con un gran aplauso.
And don't forget when you go home, live and love. Thank you. Okay.
Bueno, enhorabuena por un selfie de recuerdo.